Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am Violette Ayala, the founder and CEO of FemCity. I went a little too fast there for my words in my brain. I'm so excited today. We are going to talk about how to amplify your revenue. I've asked two of our FemCity Global members and experts to join me today in this conversation. Our collective intention is to help you amplify money in 2023. I know everyone agrees that it's always a great day when we see women making more money. It makes me so happy. I love that we can see it now on social media, right? With our members connecting with one another and they're all making more money together. It is such a sweet spot for me. I just absolutely love that. Wrap it up and with a little bow on it. You can give it to me every day for a gift and I will always love it. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're watching us live, feel free to ask questions. We are here for you. We want you to make a lot of money. We want you to ask the questions. There are no silly questions. If you're watching the replay, because I know so many of you do on the weekends, you like to binge watch FemCity content, you can always reach out to us. You can tag us or personally reach out. You can DM. I know we have a couple of shy FemCity members, so you can even direct message us if you're too shy to post on social media. We are here for you. We are cheering you on. So I'm going to introduce Christi Norfleet. Christi, by the way, thank you for that little note that came with FemCity Roanoke. I have to do a little video to thank you guys all. It was like the sweetest thing ever. Christi Norfleet is one of our FemCity experts. And Christi, share a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you.
You already kind of let the cat out of the bag about where I live. I'm in Roanoke, Virginia. And we've been here about 2 years, and Confluence Business Solutions is all about helping small business owners, especially the femmes, grow and scale all around the world of sales and marketing. So we are sales and marketing, automation, and strategy experts.
Awesome. And so you'll see Christi teaching a lot of our marketing classes and a lot of our scaling classes. You'll see her often over in FemCity. And then Sonya Pappas, another one of my favorite FemCity members all the way in Philadelphia. I love Sonya. Got a chance to hang out with her at our FemCity retreat recently in Miami. It was amazing. And then I hung out with her again in FemCity Philadelphia's holiday luncheon. So love her. Sonya, share a little bit about yourself as well.
Sure. Thanks, Violet. As Violet said, I'm Sonya Pappas, and for the past 28 years, I've been a business owner and/or helping coach and advise businesses, basically from an accounting and tax standpoint. We have a wonderful firm of people who love to help people plan and plan ahead. But we also spend a good deal of time helping people think about how they can improve the business they're in, stretch it, and really kind of hit their dreams. So.
What a great combination. We have both sides. I love this combination so much. All right, so we're going to get down to the details. Everyone wants to know, what's the number one tip you have for women business owners? And we're going to focus on women business owners because about 80% of FemCity members, 90% are small business owners or thinking about starting a business. So we're going to start, but I know we do have some corporate women out there as well that are part of FemCity. What's your number one tip for those women on how they can amplify their revenue for 2023? Let's go to Christi.
Okay, so I'm going to just use one phrase, and you actually kind of gave me a good intro into what I'm going to talk about, which is systems help scale businesses. So you mentioned the word scaling in terms of the work that we do here, and over this last year especially. I spent a lot of time talking to all different kinds of business owners, not just FemCity ladies. And what I found was over and over and over again, finding that most companies do not have a good system in place to help with prospects, like when a prospect comes into your business, welcoming them, providing them with some sort of indoctrination, good kind of follow-up. How do you deliver on the services that you're providing? All of those things. And a lot of times, and when we think about just the startup business or that person who's sort of moving from concept to practice, people think, oh, I'm this little baby business and I don't really count. And I need to save as many of my pennies as I possibly can. So I'm not going to invest in any systems. I'm going to do it all by myself. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is you slow down your growth. and you greatly reduce the likelihood of your ability to actually manage all the balls that you have up in the air, because it doesn't matter how big or how small you are. It doesn't matter how big your list is. The work is the same. And so when you don't have a system in place to help you, you will absolutely make less money. You will not have all of the successful opportunities that you could potentially have if you have the tools and the resources that your business actually needs to thrive. So my big key thing is system scale. So if you're really focused on amplifying your revenue, make sure that you have the right tools in place to make those things a possibility.
Awesome, Christi. And for those, I hear myself twice. Did you hear that too?
No, you sound good.
Okay. For those that are not clear with what systems mean, what is an example of a system?
So systems include things like your CRM, and a CRM is your client relationship management tool, your marketing system. So what are you using to email, to text, to communicate with your people? How are you selling your products and services? And when you have an opportunity to put all of those things, and there's other parts of your business, but basically your systems are the tools that you need to run your business. And if you put them under one roof, even better, because it's fewer passwords, cheaper budget, things like that. But your systems are all the tools that you need to have a really good follow-up, a good customer relationship, knowing what's going on in your business without having it all stuck inside your head.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, let's go to Sonya. What is your number one advice for women business owners and how they can amplify their revenue in 2023?
Okay. I thought Christi's was excellent. I kind of want to piggyback with her. I'm going to take it a little broader. I want women to learn to say it out loud. I would really like if the business owners took a moment to step back. It's the last day of January. Your numbers are there for 22. Do that homework. Do that due diligence. Put your things in place. Analyze what happened behind you, strengths, weaknesses, set appropriate goals. And when you're looking, I need you to hone in your pricing and understand the pricing that you're selling, why you're selling it, and feel comfortable sharing that across your team, across your network group, your support system, throughout your marketing and all of your systems. People should feel comfortable and proud of the product you're selling, the service you're selling, and have a strong understanding of what the value is, so that you say it out loud to your clients and your team why you are worth the dollar value you're asking for. And I think when you start to feel comfortable doing that, and you really understand the dollar value of your service and relationship to those around you in your lower market, your near market, you will be able to amplify your business. But I know for many people, you've got to start by looking in the mirror and practicing the words. You have the data, you have the numbers, you're growing your systems, like Christi said, but you've really got to get comfortable in the language of why you are valuable.
That's a huge, I mean, that could be a whole entire session for us to talk about, because I find so many members, especially those that are new or those that have pivoted during this time, feel so not confident in sharing their price. And also they feel that they are not good at sales. Like I hear that a lot. Well, I'm not good at sales. Like I'm just not a good salesperson. That's why my numbers aren't there. And an exercise to do for those that might be struggling with that is to think about how your talent, skills, experience, expertise will help someone live life better or grow a bigger business. Because that's pretty much why we're in business, right? It's either to live a happier life, whether it's a fancy sneakers or a vacation or yoga class, or it's to expand and help their business grow. You are of service. You're helping people elevate their lives with whatever you're doing as a business. Thinking about that will also help you realize it's not selling. You're providing a service, you're providing a product that makes people's lives better or more enriched. So I know that that's a really big sticking point that a lot, and I only say women because I've only been working with women for like 20 years. I find that they get stuck there a lot of times, that they're embarrassed to say their price or feel uncomfortable with charging, right? Like how many times I've heard women like, oh, I'll just do it for you for free. I'm like, whoa, wait a moment. Like you do not want to have that energy. You know, I know that's kindness and you're doing it from love, but you also have to receive something energetically in exchange for what you're giving. So I think that's a huge piece right there that you shared. And again, we could have a part 2 in that. Christi, you want to say something?
I really, I love that you brought that up too, Sonya, just because I think about the number of places where it comes up when, and Violet, to your point about women in particular, when you're not comfortable with your rate, you find yourself backfilling, this is why. So if you can have that conversation by yourself to that place where you're practicing to the point of, I'm comfortable with this, then you don't feel that necessity to explain yourself to that prospective buyer, because then you lose all that confidence that you had in the first place. So I think that's a really great point.
Yeah, and if I can tag onto that, I think one thing that's extremely helpful is when you're describing your services and how they're valuable. I think women in particular, Violet, tend to feel uncomfortable selling themselves. I think it's super helpful to give an example of a client. I worked with a client and their revenues increased, or I worked with a client and their marketing expanded. I think you really, it's easier to tell the story of success through one of your interactions with a client than it is to do it for yourself. So I also would strongly, as people are considering how to amplify their revenue, I would ask them to turn to a trusted client and allow them to write a testimonial and allow them to be included in the thought process, so that you can share with them, I'm highlighting you because this has worked out so well, and really change the dialogue. I think when you start to do that inside yourself, that you become more comfortable with it, it spreads to your team and your staff, and it really creates a different air, and people understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm sure that there are some out there that are like, well, I'm thinking about starting a business, so I don't have a testimonial. So perhaps that is you. And I would say, taking Sonya's advice, you can kind of create a perfect ideal world of how you would help someone. So that you could even reframe it from that perspective as well. I think also stories are great. People love to hear stories of like how you impacted others, and then they can see themselves in that place. Love it. And I love the systems also, Christi, that you mentioned. I just want to go back to that. I've seen so many businesses fail because they didn't have the systems in place, or they grew too fast, too much without having other people help, and the pieces fall. And when the pieces fall, your clients know that, and then they're not so confident in hiring you for that next round or that next project, or to renew for the next kind of retainer contract that you have for them. So it's important for you to grow steady, make sure that your foundation is strong. So I know even at FemCity, every time we look to grow to another level, we check all of our systems. We check to make sure everything is as strong as possible so that it can support that next level of growth. And that's how you amplify your revenue, is by having those systems in place. Then you can actually kind of start taking it to the next level. The idea is that you work the same amount of hours, but you amplify your revenue with the same systems in place, with the same work that you're doing. And then eventually you can hire more people, and then you're only focusing on the development of the business versus all the little details in that as well.
I think too, if you don't have those systems in place, then you're also you're losing money. So it's not just about amplifying, it's about what money are you leaving on the table because you don't have a good process for onboarding a new customer. So it's clunky and it's icky and they don't feel good. And so are they referring you to somebody else? Probably not. Like, did you have a good system there, or had you had a good system there? Could that have changed the customer experience to make it so that they're raving about you? And that's just kind of a simple experience or example.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Final advice that you have, Christi, and then Sonya.
Okay, so I'm all about the marketing side and those systems. So systems also help you with follow-up. Follow-up. You want to close the sale and stand out between you and the competition. The competition isn't following up. Overwhelmingly, businesses don't have systems for good follow-up. And ironically, like, I will have an automated process, and then I'll still have a personal process that I do as well. And the great thing about the automation and automating my follow-up is now I have time for a personal message or a personal text message or something like that. And consistently, the response I get is, oh my God, you're so good at this. And And that is what's going to make you stand out between you and the competition. So wherever possible, use the systems, and use those systems to have really good follow-up so that you are the person they remember. So when they're ready to buy, that prospective buyer says, okay, I'm ready to take an action, you're the first person that comes to mind.
And I love it. I keep hearing myself twice. So, okay, I think it's good now. I love that, because when we talk about amplifying your revenue, if you follow up and people trust you more and more, it's going to lead them into hiring you for more projects when they grow and expand. It's also going to be, word of mouth is really important. So people are going to talk about you. So it's going to lead you to more opportunities. So just following up, it's not just about following up and getting that gig right there and then. It's the longevity of where that leads you, not only with them rehiring you or giving you more work to do, but also all the people that they're talking to. Imagine exponentially, and then those people are talking to other people. That's how your brand will explode. So I love that final tip. Sonya, your final advice?
Oh, my final advice, I have to go back to the accounting and tax. It's January. As you're amplifying and reviewing your systems and talking to yourself in the mirror about how strong and great the value of your product is, I'm going to remind you that there's a lot of data in your past year's numbers, and I need you all to stop and have a good, soulful conversation with yourself about where you landed in 2022 and how that's aligning in your first month in 2023. And even if it makes you feel uncomfortable to have that number conversation with yourself, I'm going to tell you to take Christi's advice and find a system for it and a partner for it and pull it in together so that you really feel like you're from a place of knowledge as you're making these changes to scale and become larger. You got to go back to the data and you got to look at those numbers.
Yes, that was one of my mentors, Joan Barnes, many years ago when I met her. She started asking me about my numbers, and I had never, first of all, no one's asked me about my numbers. And it was the first time that I went back to really look at my numbers, like she told me, just like you just said right now. And sometimes the numbers aren't what you think they are. So we can think like our number one revenue stream is da-da-da. But when you look at the data, you look at the numbers for real, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're putting more attention into an area that's not really like growing and flourishing. Mm-hmm. Often I find it's like in other areas that you didn't even notice were bringing in money. So knowing your numbers is so important, not like how much you're spending, how much you're, receiving. It's beyond that. It's really like what's really bringing in the money. What are those things that keep on growing? What's kind of dying out? Like just knowing your numbers will really help you to amplify your revenue, because then you can really kind of say, oh, well, I didn't realize it was making that much, or I made more this year than I did last year on this one little area. Oof. And that's easy for me. I can get 10 people to do that for me. So that's where it becomes really extremely important to look at your numbers, even those little details. So I love that. Okay. Great. So there are all these femmes that are watching, but no one's asking questions. So that's okay. If you have any questions later on, just reach out to us and let us know. I feel like this has been a great conversation. At least it has been for me, a great reminder in many ways. Christi, how can femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
You can find me and our business on Facebook and Instagram, and in the FemCity community, Christi Norfleet or Confluence Business Solutions. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. And Sonya, how can femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Well, thank you. You can find me in the FemCity pages, and you can also find me at gsm.biz. It's quite simple, and I hope to see you all there.
Thank you so much. Again, Christi and Sonya are from our FemCity Global program, so you can reach out to them through our membership directory. And I look forward to our next conversation. I hope that it's the three of us again very soon. And maybe we can talk about, I'd love to dive in a little bit more into why we have those issues with promoting ourselves. And I think that would be a really great conversation to have as well. That would be very enlightening. So wishing you all a great rest of the day. And for those that want to learn more about FemCity, head over to femcity.com. We've got a free 30-day trial membership ready for you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks.